Hello everybody and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo, where we're continuing from where we left off. Of course, flexibility is important for any runner. You'll be able to go faster the more you stretch out. That makes no sense to me, but Emmy seems to believe it's true. With Emmy's help, I managed to stretch myself out properly. I can't help but notice that when she thinks about how to explain things to me, her mouth scrunches up in concentration. It's adorable. Not bad, Asao. Come on, we better start running. We'll start off with just a mile, okay? That's 4 laps around the track. Got it? That sounds fine to me. This shouldn't be too hard, right? A hazy memory of running a mile for gym class surfaces in my mind. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Emmy sets a pretty good pace, and I fall in behind her. Try to keep up, okay, Hasao? Roger that. We round the first curve without incident, though I can already feel my heart rate increasing slightly. By the second curve, I started to breathe through my mouth. Emmy doesn't seem to be breaking a sweat. As if to punctuate her superiority, she turns around and starts running backwards. Are you doing okay, Hisao? Never better. Oh really, maybe I should speed up then. Oh, no, wouldn't want you to overexert yourself. My heavy panting and wheezing makes the statement less convincing than I had hoped. Emily simply smiles and turns around again. You're the boss, Asal. We'll stay at this pace. I get the feeling that I'm being mocked. If I weren't in such terrible shape, I would probably feel offended. By the third lap, my breath is coming in raged gasps. I also awash in my own sweat. Gross. We round the curve to start our fourth lap. Emmy looks back at me with a grin. Here we go. She takes off at a blinding speed while I stubbornly stick to a slower pace. By the time I get to the first turn, she's already rounding the second. As I struggle across to the backstretch, Emmy continues running and catches up to me. Come on, Sal, you can do it. I'd answer her, but I'm too focused on getting air into my legs and ignoring the burning in my leg muscles. But part of me wants to say something like, maybe you can, but I'm about to die here. But again, I doubt I can actually form words right now. Emmy keeps a pace with me as I round the second turn and cross the finish line. Her sprint seems to have gotten her sweating. It's actually caused her shirt to turn slightly transparent. It seems she wears a black sports bra. I feel a vague stab of guilt from being that sort of guy who stares at a girl's chest. But my leg and chest are burning so badly I can't bring myself to care that much. Not bad for your first effort, Sal. Kind of you to say so. Ugh. Emmy seems to be, if not out of breath, at least breathing a little more heavily than she was before when we started. It must have been the sprint that did it. Hey, I've got to get a few sprints in. You should walk around the track to cool down. Then we can stretch out and we'll be done. And then we'll be all done, okay? Sounds great. My legs are on fire and my breathing is still heavy. But surprisingly, my heart seems to be taking the strain well. Another triumph of medical science, I suppose. You should put your hands behind your head. It makes it easier to catch your breath. Surprisingly, she's right. I begin to stroll around the track, happy to feel my breath coming back to me. Whoa. There's a blur of Emmy sprints by me. Watching her run is absolutely fascinating. It's not just because she is on prosthetics, though that is interesting. The really interesting thing is the way her face changes. I could only catch glimpses of it as she runs by, but her eyes seem to come alive with a sort of fierce joy. It's as if there's nothing else in the world but her and the track. By the time I've gotten to the final stretching, Emmy seems to have finished her sprinting. She's breathing heavily now, but she's wearing a satisfied grin on her face. She waves to me cheerily as I near her. Feeling better now? Actually, yeah. Do you know what to take another lap? Do you want to take another lap around with me? I've got to cool down too, you know. Part of me would rather sit down and not move, but something tells me that would be a bad idea. Besides, if I sit down, there may be no getting back up again. Sure, why not? Amy got her hands behind her head as well, which makes her seem very relaxed. The position of her arms also pulls her shirt upward ever so slightly so that I can see a small strip of her belly. I do my best to act the gentleman and not look, but the contrast of her skin against her red running shorts is rather arresting. So how do you feel, Hasao? Surprisingly good. Actually, I'm sore and tired, but surprisingly good. As soon as I say it, I realize that is true. That is true. Sure, part of me wants to lay down and die, but I feel like I accomplished something. It's almost like a glow throughout my body that persists despite the soreness. Yeah, that's the runner's high. Runner's high? Yeah, it has something to do with adrenaline? Emmy thinks for a moment as we walk, trying to remember. Then she shrugs and grins at me. I don't actually remember. It's a good feeling though, isn't it? Better than sex, right? What? Huh? I opened my mouth to respond shortly before processing what she just said. Emmy watches my face for a few moments before bursting into laughter. Sorry, I couldn't resist. You're just too easy. Why did I agree to run with you again? Emmy just laughs harder. She takes a hold of my forearm and tilts it, allowing her to get a better view of my watch. Her face changes the moment she sees the time. Oh no, we better get a move on, Hisao. Class is in an hour and I need to shower. That rhymed. I should probably do that as well. I need to see the nurse too. Maybe he'll write me a note for being late. Why do you need to see the nurse? Amy points to her prosthetics as if it were to explain everything. It's important to check my irritation. For irritation. You know, from sweat or friction or anything. Normally I go around after practice. I only go after practice. But if we're going to do these morning runs, then I guess I'll see him twice a day. Wait, so Emmy has only started doing these runs since I showed up? If it's more convenient for you to run with me at a later time... Don't be silly. I've been meaning to start running in the morning for a while now. But if I don't have a partner to run with, I'd be less likely to keep up a routine. It's always harder to blow off a commitment if you're going to let someone else down, you know. So, you'll be my running partner for the mornings. We both need the exercise, so it all works out, don't you think? Yeah, perfect. Did it have to be me, though? Well, I guess I can't complain too much. Emmy's pretty fun to hang out with. And she's right. I do need the exercise. Doctor's orders, even. Emmy waves a quick goodbye to me. Right, I'm off. Come have lunch with us today. What? Lunch. You know, the meal. In the middle of the day. Come have it with us. Donde? The rooftop. Rin likes it up there. When? Lunchtime. When else? That was a silly question. Yeah, but I sort of felt the need to ask all three of the completeness' sake. For completeness' sake. Emmy laughs and grins. I don't think I've ever seen a girl smile so much before. Not bad, Hisao. See ya. With that, she takes off like a shot from the school building. I guess she's going to see the nurse first. I hurry back to my room and hop in the shower, only to find the water takes a while to heat up. The shock of the cold water nearly kills me. I managed to warm the water a bit and spend some quality time feeling my muscles loosen. My heart surprisingly feels the least bothered by the run. I suppose that's a good thing, even if it does make me feel like a bit of a wuss. I mean, at least I had an excuse beyond I am out of shape, if my heart were to bother me. Guess I'll have to keep this running thing up. Otherwise, I'm sure Emmy won't let me hear the end of it. That's only after I get out and dry myself off that I realize that I'm only 10 minutes left to put my clothes on and get to class. Crap. The hands on the clock finally set me free from the tedium of yet another fun-filled class. Getting up from my seat proves to be more of a problem than I anticipated. My legs are killing me from this morning's run. Maybe doing these with Emmy isn't such a hot idea after all. Still, the run gives me a hell of an appetite. I'm halfway down the hallway to the cafeteria when I remember that I got my lunch with me. My parents saw fit to provide me with some pre-packaged stuff when I moved in. And a good thing, too. The hallway is packed with students headed for the cafeteria. Going back is like swimming upstream, but I've got an appointment to keep on the rooftop. It takes me a moment to find the staircase leading up to the rooftop, but I'm willing to bet that Emmy and Ren aren't up there by now anyway. In fact, I think I saw Emmy among the bodies in the hallway headed for the cafeteria. I step out of the door to the roof and take a deep breath. The fresh air blowing against my face and body almost make my legs hurt less. Maybe if I'm upside down. Part of me wants to be surprised that Ren's already up here. What's that going to accomplish? Things in the clouds. Couldn't you just look at them right side up? Rin rolls her eyes in something approaching expiration. What? Then I wouldn't get a new perspective. Is upside down really a new perspective? Aha! That caught her off guard. Rin looks pensive. You may have a point. Maybe sideways. As Rin lays down on the bench to look at the sky, I give up. Fortunately, Emmy chooses that moment to burst through the door carrying 2 bags. She nearly takes the door off the hinges. Sorry it took me so long. There were a ton of people in line. She drops the first bag in front of Rin and takes a seat on the bench next to her. You buy Rin's lunch for her? Rin's lunch for her? Lynch. Sometimes, yeah. I'd have Rin buy my lunch for me in return, but I'm not sure how she'd carry it. Plus, I'd never buy lunch here. Plus, I'd never buy her lunch. If Rin's offended by Emmy's comment, she doesn't show it. Emmy sniffs. How ungrateful you are. I'm not sure whether the two are joking with one another or I'm witnessing the beginning of a cat fight. The 2 girls stare at one another for a few tense moments before breaking into smiles. Hey Emmy, do you think being upside down is a new perspective on things? Didn't I already have this conversation? Emmy looks thoughtful, apparently giving the question some thought. After a deep and profound pause, she speaks. I have no idea. Well, at least she has lost as I am. Hey, Sal, are you coming to the track meet, right? You're coming to the track meet, right? The question comes out of the blue and catches me off guard. I don't know yet. Honestly, Hasao, after I went through all the trouble of letting you run with me in the morning, you won't even show up at my track meet? Wasn't she the one that asked me to run with her? Actually, she didn't even give me a choice in the matter. Wait, no, I didn't say that. She beams at me as if I had agreed to give her $1 million. So you'll come after all. That's great. I didn't say that either. I'll be going too, so I'll make sure he comes at me. Good idea, Rin. Maybe we can get some food or something after the meet's over. I feel like I've been coned, but not by these two. More like by outside force, pushing me irrevocably toward my destiny. Or maybe I shouldn't read books. That future conspiracy theory is so heavily. Otherwise, I might wind up sounding like Kenji. Still, I suppose that I've got to show up now. I don't think I could stand against both of them being disappointed. I'd never hear the end of it. When is it again? I should have said it like, when is it again? Next week, silly. I just told you a few days ago. No, you didn't. I forgot? Well, you won't forget to come through, will you? Of course I won't. I'll make a note on my calendar or something. Rin nods sagely. That's probably a good idea, you know. Unless time changes, of course. Its course. It can do that? Rin gives a non-committal shrug. It hasn't yet, but you never know. This time, it's Amy who gives a shrug. I suppose it can't be helped if it happens. Not unless you're a time traveler or something. You don't actually think that could happen, do you? I don't think we do we? Rin shrugs again. That seems to be her default response to everything. I suppose not, but I reserve the right to change my opinion at a moment's notice. For Rin, the statement makes a disturbing amount of sense. The fact that I realize that now frightens me a bit. I wonder if Emmy gets this feeling all the time. If she does, she's not showing it, though. Emmy merely nods. As expected. What's that supposed to mean? This time it's Emmy who shrugs. It's like she's using Rin's own weapon against her. Your response is the sort of thing I'd expect from you. That's all. Am I really that predictable? Emmy's smile seems to border on gloating. Nah, it's just that your unpredictability is pretty predictable. Well, that's alright then. I don't get the chance to see whether Rin's being serious or not as the bell rings. I didn't notice the lunch period slipped by at all. Hanging out with these two was far too interesting. Emmy jumps up, a look of panic on her face. Oh no! I needed to stop by my room to pick up my notebook for the next class. Don't you wish you had a time machine now? Rin seems rather smug as she delivers this line, like she just won an argument. Emmy ignores Rin's comment. Sorry, Asao, but could you make sure our garbage gets thrown away? I usually clean up myself, but I gotta run. Sure, no problemo. Emmy darts away with the urgency I've started to expect from her. I don't bother asking Rin why she couldn't help. She already seems to be preoccupied with something else entirely as she wanders off. She's probably used to Emmy taking care of cleanup, and for some reason I doubt Emmy's ever raised the issue with her. Cleaning up from lunch doesn't take long, so I have plenty of time to toss our garbage and get to class. Misha greets me with a wave and a devious grin as I walk through the door. Didn't see you in the cafeteria, Hichan. Yeah, I decided it was too crowded there. Mr. Gren gets even wider. Oh, really? Are you sure you weren't participating in any religious and electant religious? What? What are you talking about? You're on the roof, right? With both Rim and Annie, no less. You Casanova, you. We just had lunch, that's all. Misha burst out into laughter, drawing the attention of several of my classmates. Why hee 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 hee. You're so adorable when you blush like that, Hichan. She gives me a conspiratorial wink. Don't worry, your secret's safe with me. There's no secret. Oh? Misha seems disappointed and then brightens up again. Time will tell. I don't know what the hell she's talking about, but blessedly our teacher comes in and the class starts. Another day of class has finally dragged itself to a close. Unexpectedly, I managed to stay awake for the whole day. I'm pretty sure that counts as a miracle. My legs seem unwilling to stand up for a moment. I guess the run took a lot out of me. I head down the hallway and make my way to my room. I sit down and half-heartedly chip away at my homework for a while, feeling like a vulture picking at a particular unsavory carcass. It knows this is what it eats, but it's not sure that it shouldn't be ordering takeout instead. I don't think I could take this, but it's important to get my work done. Now let's see. What was I supposed to be looking over again? I know it's a losing battle, but I fight it anyway. Halfway through my math homework, I put my pencil down. This isn't working. I need a distraction. Unfortunately, my options for distractions are rather slim. I'm not in the mood to read right now. Kenji is usually out of his room at the moment. If I go to the student council room, I'll just end up doing work for those two. And heaven only knows where everyone else is except for... Well, I suppose that's an option. I grab my shoes and head for the track. Emmy's probably down there. Track practice is just ending as I arrive at the track. The sun's beginning to dip low in the sky. Has it really gotten that late already? What are you doing down here, Hasao? Come to spy on me, have you? I give a shrug. To be honest, I'm not sure why I'm down here. I didn't have anything better to do. I figure that's about right. At the moment, Emmy's the only person I think of who I could visit. So I'm your last resort, am I? Nobody cool around, so I'll just go see Emmy and see what you thought. Is that what you thought? She actually looks angry. A chance for some teasing on my own presents itself. Actually, yeah, I guess you are. Emmy pouts. Emmy pouts, widening her eyes to give a maximum amount of puppy dog resemblance. Kidding! I was kidding! So you are down here to stalk me. Wait, what? That's not what I meant. Why would I stalk you anyway? It's not like you require stalking. If you're not asleep or in class, you're down here, right? Emmy laughs at this comment. Well, you're not all wrong, I suppose. But you forgot about eating. I do that too, you know. I nod, conceding the point. Plus, I hang out with Rin sometimes too, so really, I might take some effort to stalk. What do you two do together anyway? You don't seem to have a lot in common. She puts her hands on her hips and assumes a superior air. That's what you think. I got all sorts of hidden hobbies, you know. Oh, really? Like what? Emmy puts her hand on one side as if she's trying to remember what she does in her free time. Well, Ren and I go shopping sometimes. I guess that makes sense. Emmy's a girl after all. But Ren? Ren comes with you? We usually swing by the art supply store. Plus, she likes the music store that sells all kinds of weird sounding stuff. She says it helps focus her. That makes a little more sense. I see. Any other hidden hobbies? Emmy wags a finger at me. Now, why would I go and reveal all my dark secrets to you? We hardly know one another. Somehow, I think that's all that Emmy has in her way of hobbies. Still, I think my question's been answered. And even if you do have a few hobbies, I still don't see why you hang out with Rin so much. I mean, she's kind of weird, isn't she? The comment causes Emmy to laugh loudly. Ha! That's the understatement of the year. So why? I mean, you're a lot better at conversation and stuff. So I figured you'd hang out with a lot of people. But I think I've only ever seen you with Ren. Emmy seems unusually defensive. Hey, I hang out with plenty of people that aren't Ren. You just don't see me doing it because I'm not in your class. Okay, but that still doesn't explain why you hang out with Rin. I'm not even sure why I want to know this. I guess it's because lunch was so strange. Emmy shrugs, looking for a moment very Rin-ish. It's because we have similar outlooks. If you were to ask me the least likely answer to my question, that would be it. What the hell does that mean? It's like... Okay, Rin paints and stuff, right? Uh-huh. I'm not sure where this is going. Well, I Ren. And that's why we're similar. Oh god. You lost me. Emmy frowns as if trying to figure out her answer. Well, maybe it's that we do things for the same reasons. Huh? You know, we follow our passions. So you're passionate about running and Rin's passionate about art. Is that it? Well, sort of. Let me think. Well, Rin explained it to me once, but I don't know how much of it I followed. Not surprising, I think any explanation from Rin would probably confuse anyone. She says we both chase after an extreme. Like she's always trying to find a new way to show a particular feeling or something. And I run because because of the feeling I get from it. And since we don't allow ourselves to be slowed down by anything, we make a connection based on that. What do you mean, slowed down by anything? Emily looks surprised and points at her legs. You know, because I'm a runner and Rin's a painter, even without arms. So we respect each other's determination. And that's why we hang out. I think. Well, I'm not sure if that made any sense to me, but from Emmy's sheepish expression, she's not sure about it either. Honestly, it's not something I think about much. We just get along. I think that's really all that matters. I suppose she got a point there. Another question strikes me, and since I've got nothing better to do, I ask it. Well, I think that's good for this episode, I guess. So next time we'll get this answer from Emmy. See you guys later.